vciso-au Cyberwatch, August 27, 2025. Strategic Cybersecurity Intelligence Brief powered by vciso-au. Stay informed, stay prepared, stay secure. Ensure your cybersecurity program is both proactive and verifiable. By Anil Yelamati, ANZ Ransomware Victims, Wineworks, Australia. Wineworks.com.au is in the ransomware victim list. Threat actor Direwolf has taken responsibility of exfiltrating 22 GB of financial data, sales data, and customer information. French retailer Auchan cyber attack. Thousands of customers' personal data exposed. Auchan disclosed a cyber incident on Aug 21, 2025, impacting several 100,000 loyalty accounts. Attackers accessed PII in CRM tables, including names, emails, postal addresses, phones, and loyalty numbers. Financial data, passwords, loyalty pins, and balances were reportedly not accessed. This containment implies effective segmentation and some defense-in-depth controls. The intrusion aligns with data harvesting tactics seen against retail CRM and POS ecosystems. Stolen contact data heightens risk of spear phishing, smishing, and social engineering fraud. Credential stuffing risk rises where customers reused passwords across services. Auchan activated incident response, notified customers, and filed with CNIL. Forensics continue to determine ingress vector and lateral movement attempts. Customer trust and potential CNIL penalties are key business impacts. Downstream BEC attempts against suppliers and partners are plausible. Rapid takedown of spoof domains and SMS filtering will be critical. vciso-au. Recommendation: enforce database row-level security and tokenization of loyalty identifiers. Implement FIDO2 WebAuthn for customer accounts. Enable rate limiting and bot mitigation against login and reward APIs. Deploy DMARC DKIM SPF with active monitoring. Stand up brand protection for smishing domains. Require customer password resets only where reuse is detected via credential leak screening. Run Purple Team tests on CRM ingress points. And maintain a CNIL-aligned breach playbook with tabletop exercises. US CISA adds Citrix session recording and Git flaws to Kev. CISA added 2 Citrix session recording issues and a Git path handling bug to Kev. CVE 2024-8069 is deserialization of untrusted data enabling limited RCE as network service. CVE 2024-8068 enables privilege escalation to network service in domain-joined contexts. Both Citrix issues require an authenticated user on the intranet or AD domain. CVE 2025-48384 affects Git via mishandled carriage returns altering config paths. The Git flaw can redirect reads, writes, and subvert repo trust boundaries. KEV inclusion signals, active exploitation, or high likelihood and patch urgency. Enterprise dev and VDI estates face compounded risk from mixed versions. Build servers using Git hooks are attractive lateral movement pivots. Citrix session recording servers often sit near sensitive user activity data. Attackers can chain weak auth with deserialization to expand privileges. Immediate inventory, patching, and compensating controls are required. vciso-au. Recommendation: patch or upgrade Citrix session recording to vendor-fixed versions. Disable or gate the service behind PAM and MFA. Enforce signed, validated serialization. Restrict AD group membership and GPO service rights. Harden Git by upgrading to fixed versions and rejecting CR in config via core. Protect NTFS and clean filters. Mandate signed commits and protected branches. Monitor for suspicious child processes from recording services. And add Kev items to SLA-tracked remediation with continuous exposure management. Docker fixes CVE 2025-9074, Critical Container Escape, CVSS 9.3. A Docker desktop flaw allowed containers to reach the engine API on 192.168.65.7.2375. Access was possible even with ECI enabled and without the Expose daemon option. Unauthenticated API reachability enabled wide privileged operations via HTTP. Attackers could start new containers, manage images, and control peers. On some Windows WSL setups, containers could mount host drives read-write. This leads to potential full host compromise from a malicious workload. The issue stemmed from a basic isolation assumption about the private subnet. Nmap discovery within container networks quickly revealed the exposure. Version 4.44.3 of Docker Desktop addresses the vulnerability. Researchers Felix Boulay and Philippe Dugray reported and demonstrated impact. Organizations running local Linux containers on desktop were primarily affected. Network isolation testing and daemon access controls are essential lessons. vciso-au recommendation: upgrade Docker Desktop to 4.44.3 plus block 2375 type 2376 from container subnets, require TLS client certs for Engine API, disable legacy TCP exposure, adopt rootless Docker where feasible, enforce least privilege with seccomp AppArmor, and read-only roofs, isolate builds on dedicated builders, scan private subnets during CI for unexpected services, and implement policy as code, OPA gatekeeper, to prevent privileged mounts. Electronics manufacturer Data.io, ransomware disruption. Data.io reported a ransomware incident to the SEC on August 16, 2025. Operational systems were proactively taken offline for containment. Disruptions affected communications, shipping, receiving, and manufacturing. Some services have been restored, but full recovery timing is unknown. Incident response and external experts were engaged immediately. Notification obligations to regulators and individuals are underway. The business warned of material financial impacts from recovery costs. Scope and data impact assessments are still in progress. Manufacturing downtime indicates OTIT dependencies or shared services. Threat actors likely targeted Windows AD, file shares, and ERP systems. Backup integrity and segmentation will define recovery velocity. Public reporting underscores the need for resilience and transparency. vciso-au recommendation: segment OT from IT with unidirectional gateways where possible. Enforce immutable backups with 32110 policy and quarterly restore tests. Implement EDR with isolation on domain controllers and file servers. Adopt application allow listing for HMI production hosts. Deploy staged MFA for admins and service accounts with tiered AD. Patch external RMM VPN first. Use SaaS mail security to stop initial payloads. And formalize ransomware playbooks with cross-functional tabletop drills. POC released for Chrome, 0-day CVE 2025-5419, V800BRW. Google disclosed an actively exploited V800B read-write bug. The flaw allows crafted arrays to corrupt heap structures in the renderer. Attackers gain arbitrary read-write primitives under the user context. Exploit chains escalate from OOB to function pointer overwrite for RCE. POC code was published publicly while patches were still propagating. Malicious pages can deliver second-stage payloads, including ransomware. Drive-by attacks are viable via watering holes and malvertising. Chromebooks, VDI browsers, and unmanaged BYOD pose exposure gaps. Renderer sandbox escapes may be chained from this primitive. Enterprise web isolation reduces blast radius for 0 days. Rapid update channels are critical to close the window. Telemetry for unusual renderer crashes can indicate exploitation. vciso.au. Recommendation: force update Chrome Edge to patched versions via MDM the same day. Enable site isolation and enterprise-safe browsing. Deploy browser isolation for high-risk roles. Block legacy extensions and require extension allow lists. Monitor for renderer crash spikes and unusual child processes. Filter malvertising via DNS and secure web gateway. And maintain a rapid 0-day patch SOP with communication templates. Hackers sabotage Iranian ships via maritime terminals, and Central MySQL attackers compromised Fanava Group's maritime comms environment in late AUG 2025. legacy iDirect Falcon terminals running old Linux kernels were a key weakness. Intruders reached a central MySQL database mapping vessels and terminals. Credentials and configs, including modem serials and IP phone details, were exposed. Plain text passwords enabled broad command execution and remote control. A synchronized blackout disrupted email, FBB SIMs, weather, and port signals. Targeting the provider avoided ship-by-ship compromise complexity. Unpatched management consoles likely provided initial privileged access. Researchers tied activity to lab-Ductigan-linked operations. The campaign demonstrates supply chain impact across sanctioned fleets. Poor segmentation and credential hygiene amplified operational effects. Resilience gaps in maritime vciso-au comms became starkly visible. vciso-au recommendation: enforce vendor patching SLAs for terminal firmware and management consoles. Move secrets to a vault with rotation and device-bound creds. Segment NMSDB from terminal networks with MFA-gated jump hosts. Enable full disk encryption and secure boot on terminals. Implement anomaly detection on satellite link control traffic. Require TLS and mutual auth for device to hub. Conduct red team exercises against the provider's NOC, and maintain manual fallback comms procedures with rehearsed failovers. Ransomware exposure list. Last 24 hours Germany. Johann Peter Hebel Realschule. jprswaghäusel.de. Ferienwohnungen.de. Ferienwohnungen.de. Faltner GmbH. Faltner.de. Schließmeier GmbH. Schließmeier.de. United Kingdom. Parkside Group Ltd. parksidegroup.co.uk, Marlborough Partners, marlboroughpartners.com, Boltnut Manufacturing, bnml.co.uk, United States, Phillips 66 Lubricants, phillips66lubricants.com, Riverton Cabinet Company, rivertoncabinets.com, Huntwood Industries, huntwood.com, Pocono Farms Country Club, poconofarms.com, Trico, trico176.org, Dynacast, dynacast.com, NRL Associates, Inkinchi, nrlasoc.com, Hydrometrics, Inky, hydrometrics.com, Gibbs Interwire, gibbswire.com, Mexico, Optivosa, optivosa.com, Indonesia, Airfast Indonesia, airfastindonesia.com, Brazil, Aroeira Sales Advogados, aroeirasales.com.br, Taiwan, Taiwan Dongyang, Guoji Yi Biao, Gufen Yoxing Gongxi, no domain listed, Australia, Wineworks Australia, wineworks.com.au, unclear, not assigned. Accident Injury Solicitors, ais.lkidemos.com, location not given. Final note from vciso-au. Australia and New Zealand remain relatively untouched this week, but the global threat landscape continues to shift. Critical infrastructure, software supply chains, and endpoint security are under siege. Ensure your cybersecurity program is both proactive and verifiable. By Anil Yelamati.